Welcome to the joy of coding.
Hello, and welcome to episode 345 of The Joy of Coding. My name is Mike Conley. It's so good to have you here. Gonna be hacking on some Firefox stuff today. It's gonna be great, gonna be grand, really stoked, really excited, heavily caffeinated. Let's get into it. Let me start by sharing my screen. Yeah, this is the agenda. It's November 1st, 2023, episode 345. I start this off like I start off every stream. No plan survives breakfast. I think I know what I want to do today. I think I know how things are going to go, but they might not. They might not go the way I had planned. That's okay. We're going to just deal with it and roll with the punches as they come. So, I might get pigeon or rat holed on some particular problem, or we might get stuck. Last week, for example, we discovered a new bug that we ended up debugging for the vast majority of the stream. That wasn't part of the plan, and we just rolled with it. So yeah, that's the name of the game. That's the first thing. The second thing is that if you're looking at this agenda and wondering like, oh, it'd be great if I could like click on some of these handy links, have I got news for you? You can get access to the agenda if you're watching this on YouTube or Diode.zone. The link's down in the video description. If you're watching this on Twitch, it's down in the channel details. And if you're watching this on Air Mozilla, it's over in the details section. All right, let's get down to business to defeat the Huns. What are we doing today? We are, there's a question that I think I'm going to try and answer. This was a question that was sent in using the Rate This Episode form. And I want to try and answer it. So this came in. I'll read it out. I would love if you could explain how to see what the MSRV of a specific Firefox release is using. I actually had to look this up. MSRV stands for minimum standard Rust version, I think. Minimum standard Rust version. I think that's what it is. MSRV. Isn't that what it stands for? MSRV Mozilla. Or maybe Rust. I'll say Rust. Minimum supported Rust version. Right. Minimum supported Rust version. And the question is, can you explain how to figure out what the minimum supported Rust version of a specific Firefox release is using? The schedule on this link, so let's go there, hasn't been updated for Firefox 117 or 18. And now 119. Well, guess what? I think it has been updated. I see. It hasn't been updated. It's just like question mark. I filed a docs bug here. It hasn't gained any traction. Not that I'm expecting you to do anything about this. I was just hoping you'd point me in the right direction of figuring out the MSRV for a specific Firefox release is. Well, that's a great question. I don't actually know. Let's see if we can find out really quickly. So Firefox 116's MSRV was 1.660. So let's see if we can look at the Firefox 116 source code and see if we can find that encoded somewhere. And what we want is search Fox. We're going to look at the 116 code base, if we can. Or let's look at the 115 one, because that's the one that's ESR'd. So, and we have got a 115 ESR search Fox repository for it. And let's just look for 1.660 in the... here we go. Minimum Rust version, 1.660. So that's encoded here inside of something called Mozboot. And it looks like... This is because of symoperands. So it looks like this is something that applies to the entire tree. It's encoded here in Python. So what we need to do then is if we look at minimum Rust version... is this the same file, util.py? It looks like it's 1.7.0 as of 25 days ago, and that's in the 120 branch. So right here, I think it's 1.7.0. And before that, Let's see if we can figure out what it was before that. We can look at the, without that change. It was 1.66 before that. And that was done in what version? For 1.15. So my guess is that it's 1.66, 1.66, 1.66, all the way until version 120, when it becomes 1. What was it? 1.70. That's my guess. But the people who would know this the best would probably be the people in these bugs. Like Glandium is the one that did this work about a month ago. So what we could do is I'll need info Glandium. Just to double check. Hey, Glandium. Am I reading the Rust version history correctly when I say that for 117 to 119, the MSRV was 1.660, but for Firefox 120, this has been updated to 1.70. What was it? 1.70.0. Okay. So we will need info Glandium, who worked on this most recent one, to double check. But if that's the case, then that's how you figure it out, I guess, is you look at this minimum Rust version here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna get a reference to this line, and I'm gonna put that in the agenda. Answer. I think it's defined here in Mozilla Central. I've need infoed Glandium to see if my analysis is correct, and if so, or my analysis wasn't really analysis, if my guesses, if my assumptions on the MSRVs for 117 to 120 are correct, and if so, we can go ahead and update that doc. It might be worth automating the construction of that document. Worth automating the construction of that document at some point. Okay, let's get back to jump lists. I hope that was interesting. I hope that answers your question. I'm presuming that's the question from the submitter of this bug, which was Cole Helbling. So I hope that was a help to you, Cole. All right, back to Windows jump lists. So as you recall, last week we had run into a very interesting bug where the length of the, I think it was the description, if it was too long, for example, if the places database query returned a long title or a very long URL, then the jump list code would just it wouldn't allow us to commit the list. It would error out, and it wouldn't. Unfortunately, the jump list code, the backend, the Win32 API doesn't really give us a hint on why it would error out. We just kind of had to do some poking and prodding to figure out that, oh, the title's too long, and we found some documentation that there's a sort of a maximum length. It's supposed to be the documentation said something like it's supposed to be max path, but in practice it seems like info tooltip is the maximum. So what you gonna do? So what I wanted to do was write a test for that. But before we do that, what I did after the episode ended, I just committed our work to this new commit. I realize now I need to update that commit message to not use. Oh, it's supposed to be info tip size, but in practice max path seems to work. So that commit message seems right. I want to add a test in this patch as well, but before I do that, I want to actually go back to a previous commit because I want us to take a look at something here. There is a stack of patches for this work, and only one of them still needs a review. And one strategy you can have, because like what I'm doing with this max path thing is I'm adding another commit to fix it on top. That will need review. But in the meantime, I can update this previous review, and I know Molly's working today. Molly might be able to review that patch in short order before she even gets to the newest one. So what I can do is kind of front run by updating this earlier patch first, posting that for review, and then working on this other one. Because who knows, I might not even get that one done today. I hope we will. Chances are, but we might get stuck. But I can at least get this one done and put it in front of Molly to review it. So let's do that first before we even get to our test. So what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to update to this commit here. I'm actually realizing I might want to do some merging, actually. I want to, like, merge this into this. So hang on. Let me clean this up a little bit first. And then I'll also inform Molly that I switched over to using main thread pointer holder in case she wants to review that again, but it should be fine. Okay, so let's do HG hist edit. This will allow us to merge some commits. I'm going to move this one up. And we're going to roll that one into the one above it. And then, yeah, I think that's all I wanted to do there. And for updating the query, and that'll be inside of our Windows jump list.sys.mjs here. We're basically just going to change our sorting. Like, I'm going to want to examine this pretty closely, make sure I get it right. But I think we effectively just, instead of sorting by last visited date, we're going to want to sort by, like, the number of visits. I think that's the plan. Okay. So let's now switch to this commit. Seriously, did this already revert itself? Yeah. Why does quick edit mode keep undoing itself? Like, come on. What is happening here? So I'm gonna check out this commit. I'm going to build. And while we build, we can try to reverse engineer what the actual SQL query is here, and then write it out as like an actual SQL query. Maybe there's a second user that doesn't like it enabled. The second user using the machine, is it you, Ocris? Are you inside this Windows box flipping prefs? Oh, wouldn't that be a surprise? Okay, so let's reverse engineer this get history results thing. I think we had done this before, but I'm going to do it again. So whenever we create a places query like this, we're saying get new query options from history. Get new query options. Get new query options. Where's that coming from? History. Get new query options is here. So that's this thing. Query options. It's a query type history. Get sorting mode, so we can set the sorting mode, the result type, items to exclude, etc., etc. And then at some point, this gets turned into an SQL query. So presumably, there's like the query type will probably be used. So let's see how that's used. Query type. Get query type. Okay. So something, here's a getter. Is optimizable history query. No. Query type. Get tags SQL fragment. No, it's not tags. Query to query string. This sounds right. Query to query string. Query string, we start with blank. Has it. Get has begin time. Does the query have begin time? I need to go back. To the future, Marty. To a history query. And what's the question? Has begin time. Has begin time. And begin time reference. Set begin time. Yeah, I don't think necessarily it does. I mean, let's take a look at how it's used. Begin time. No, we never set it. So I don't think that's the case. I don't think we do this part. Does it have an end time? I don't think so. I think we're querying for all time. Are there search terms? Are there search terms? I don't think so. It's just min and max visits. I don't think there are min or max visits. It's just max results. Max results. Query URI, parents, tags, transitions. Okay, here we go. Sorting. Sorting is a particular sort mode. And for frequent, we are using sorting by visit count descending. And max results is this. So then query string, when does the query string actually become, like, where's our select query string to time, query to query string? Who calls this? String, query string. Query to query string. What's it supposed to do? Converts a query into an equivalent string that can be persisted. Inverse of query string to query. So I wonder if one thing we could do is just like construct this thing manually. Let's see if we can do that. And run query to query string. It shouldn't be so bad. Let's see. Let's see if we can do that. So, where's history, Windows jump lists, get history results. So what we're saying is, hey, get new query options. Do we have places utils here? Yeah. Let options equal places utils history get new query options. And we're going to say options max results equals limit. And what's the limit? Get history results. The limit is max item count, and max item count is something I think we pull from prefs. Refresh prefs. Max item count, taskbar item count, max list item count, which would be 7. Okay, fine. 7. Options.max results equals 7. And then what was the other one? Get history results. The sorting order. Options.sort, what is it? Sorting mode equals this. And then let query equal this. New query. And then when do we use options? Oh, execute query with options. So what if I just do places utils dot query to query string. Query to query string. Places utils history. Let query URI equal places utils query history. Query to query string. Query options. Query URI. Huh, that's not as helpful. That is just a URI. How do I turn it into SQL, gang? Is there a way to do that? Query string. Queries can be done in only one SQL query. So something consumes this query string. Execute async legacy query. What does that do? Async execute legacy query. You're gonna take this query, and what are you gonna do with it? You're gonna get this thing, construct query string. Is that the same thing as what we just did? No, it's not. No, it is not. And what can I access this from script? Doesn't look like it. Okay, so this actually looks like what we wanted from before. If it's an optimizable history query, sort by date ascending or sort by visit count descending. And for frequent, we want visit count descending, so that'll be the case. Is optimizable history query. We'll look at the query. Is the query type history? Yes. Is the result type results as URI? What are we getting results as? I think we're getting full-blown rows. Yeah, titles. Or if it's not results as URI, what are we getting the results as? Get history results. Query. Get result by index. Results as URI. What uses that? It's to result. So result type is just like one of these things that I guess we set history places result type equals places search box, history sidebar. I don't think we ever set it. I don't think we set it. So what's the default? What is the default? Oh, nope, 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 nope. End time. What's the result type? 0. What's the result type is 0. Nav history query options, result type 0. And what is that one? URI. So yeah, that's what we're getting. We're getting URIs. Okay. So far, I think we're still optimizable. Sorting mode is not equal to sort mode. I guess it would be, so true. Max results is less than 0 or equal to 0. No, we have maximum. Exclude items, include hidden. We don't have min visits or max visits, begin time or end time. There are no search terms. Yeah, I think this is optimizable. I think what we've determined is this is an optimizable query. Then this is the query string that we construct. Select these things. It does, I guess, optional tag stuff from Moz places where hidden equals 0 and exists a visit where place ID equals HID. Okay, so this is what we want to construct. Let's go back over here. Select, oh, no. No, 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 no. Yeah, this is maybe a bit naive. What we want is something more like select p URL. We don't need the ID. P title from Moz places p where p dot hidden equals 0 and exists. Here, I'm gonna have to break this up a little bit. From select from Moz places where hidden equals 0 and exists select ID from Moz history visits where place ID I'm going to indent this as well. Place ID where place ID equals p.id and visit type not in 0 transition embed transition framed link. Okay. PID Do we have helpers that might like visit type not in places DB to oh. Could I just use some of this stuff instead of rewriting all this? Places expiration. Moz places. What is this? What are these? Cleanup statements. Get coherence statements. Oh, okay. These aren't queries that I can just use. And visit type. Push record. So these are just coherence queries. I don't even know what that means. Get coherence statements. Check coherence, check data coherence, and tries to fix most common errors. I see. Okay. Places expiration. I know that there's like places query. Queries the place database using async read-only connections, maintains an internal cache of query results, which is live updated by adding listeners to places observers. Get history, days old, limit, sort by date. Maybe this is what I want. Get history. Days old, the maximum number of days to go back in history. Can I not say days old? Runs data query, populate the history cache. Visit date and hidden, group by, order by visit date, limit. Maybe I want this, but days old options. Days old. Where visit date equals stir f time is greater or equal than. What's a way of doing that for visits of all time? Necessarily want the last 60 days, do I? The maximum number of days to go back in history. If I make it 0, what do I get back? Places query. Let's try using this tool for a second here. Places query. Because I don't want to have to like reinvent this stuff. Places query. Chrome utils import ES module. Let places query equal that. Let PQ equals new places query. Can I do that? Okay, PQ dot places query, places query. Get history. And then fetch history. Cache history options. Okay. PQ. Get history. Days old, I'm going to say 0. Limit 7. Sort by. Oh. I don't want to group them visits by the, group them based on the, I don't want to group them that way. Group by I don't think this is gonna work. I don't think this does what I need it to do. All right. I think I'm back to hand constructing this, which blows, but here I am. Okay. So select ID from Moz history visits where place ID equals PID and visit type where none. Where place ID equals that and visit type not in, and then these ones 0 transition embed and transition framed link. Transition embed, what's for you in decimal? Let x equals for you. For you in decimal. Untrigesimal to decimal. Yeah, what is for you? What is for you? Defines literal. You can see that. Bit pattern. Simply translate the decimal literals to the equivalent hex or byte. On 1U becomes 0x. Okay, 0x0 for you. What is that? He says an unsigned hexadecimal constant value of 47 hex. Unsigned hex. Okay. Okay. So unsigned hex value of, yeah, what was it? 4 is 4. Unsigned hex. These are all just lower than 16, so 1, 2, 3, 4. And then what was the other one? Framed link. 8. 4 and 8. 0, 4, 8. Is that? Visit. Let's see if. Visit type. 0, 4, 7, 8, 9. Okay. Okay. 0, 4, and 8. And then limit 1. Limit 1. And then query options. And exists. Limit 1. And then our options are order by last visit date. Not last visit date. Number of visits descending. Query options. Query options. Order by visit count. Query options. Additional query options. Replace substring. Query string. Order by visit count descending. P dot visit count descending. Limit. Limit. Yeah, that might be it. Is that a valid SQL query? To show frequent. I think so, but let's find out. Mock build faster. 7.5U at the top is greater than 16. That's true. So that in decimal, just so I was briefly confused about this notation. We can talk about this really quick. Where was that list? Seriously? History. Yeah, okay. So this is an enum. These are just named numbers, basically. And the capital U after these digits are telling us what is the what number is actually being represented here. Because one means one in both decimal and hex, but like 75 in decimal is the value 75. But these two characters, 7 and 5 in hex, mean something completely different. 75 in hex, 75 hex to decimal is 117. That's what the actual value is being represented. And so, that's what that symbol's all about, is trying to tell us, is that, hey, this is encoded as unsigned hexadecimal. And why would we do that to ourselves, you might be wondering. And I think the reason really has to do with optimizing at like the machine, like the instruction level, like the machine instruction level for certain hex values is easier. Like hexadecimal is one of those, like binary, it's one of those numerical, it's a numeric format that computers are much better at dealing with at the machine code level than decimal. Decimal is actually, it doesn't come naturally to it, whereas like binary and hex and I think octal are like, these come naturally to the computers that we use every day. And so it's easier to do like math, like bit shifting and stuff is it makes more sense to do interesting math and useful mathematical things when your numbers are represented in these formats in the code. And so this is some of that kind of leaking out. Not incredibly interesting for our purposes, because the numbers we were looking at are all in the low, like below 16 values, where 1 in hex is the same as 1 in decimal, 2 in hex, 2 in decimal, 3 in hex, 3 in decimal. It's only once you get to 16 that things get kind of interesting. Then you get into letters. All right, let's take a look at this this build. Well, first of all, I need to make sure that the legacy backend is not enabled. Good, it's not. And now let's take a look at our items here. Okay, so now let's do a test. Let's visit ways to extend your healthy years. So that's in our history. Let's visit it a lot. Let's visit it again and again and again and again and again. And I would expect then that once the jump list updates, which I think we can force this, it'll be at the top. It's just that the icons aren't there yet. Here, let's do that again. The icons will show up eventually. That's another sort of leftover bug. Now, if we visit this meal kit one, or let's say let's visit the privacy notice, we should, if we only visit it once, we would expect that it would still be below ways to extend your ways to extend your healthy years. That's what I expect. So let's do it. Yes, privacy notice is under ways to extend your healthy years, but it's above all the others because we visited it twice. So that's good. That's what we wanted. And so I think we can go ahead and request review now for this. Commit, amend. I'm going to update the commit message. the SQL query for, in practice, we have not supported showing the recent list in the task and the jump list. We have never enabled showing the recent list in the jump list, and have only ever shown frequent by default. For now, we only implement frequent. The frequent SQL query was derived by examining, what was it? Where was the source code? NSNav history construct query string. Yeah, by examining NSNav history construct query string and deriving the resulting SQL query that the original frequent places query, that the original frequent deriving the resulting SQL query string that the original frequent visits query was using. This is as opposed to using the actual original frequent, what was it called? Frequent show frequent, build frequent. This is as opposed to using the actual original build frequent routine, as this uses deprecated places APIs, because that uses deprecated places APIs. Okay. 048. Yeah, the enums are not available, unfortunately. I don't think, unless I'm greatly mistaken. Yeah, these enums are not available to us. Nav history, database schema version. Let's see, actually, visit transition link. Do we have that? Transition link. Oh, we might actually have it. Yeah, okay. Yeah, we can put that in. NSI Nav history service. Okay, so let's put those in. Let's see. What's the right way to do this? I'm going to say zero. Cached. It looks like this just does fanciness. We can probably do that. Okay. So see, what was the value again? Construct query string. It was transition embed. NSI nav history service transition embed. Nav history service transition embed. Yeah. 4. And then same with transition framed link, and then we can reformat this. CI NSI nav history service dot transition framed link. So let's format this a bit better. Okay, let's do this. That should still be valid. Let's run it. Good call, Ocris. Okay. Oh, yeah. Doesn't like it. Near syntax error. 0 plus not in. What is this query? Did I do this wrong? Oh, yep, sorry. These need to be template strings to use our special curly brace thing. Do I have that right? Plus. Why is the rest of this stringed out? Plus 0 plus. If I get rid of those, this is still unhappy. Why? Because I put a template string there. Yeah, that's why. Okay. That looks better. Let's run that instead. Yeah, Craig, you're on the case. I love having like people like ride along and they can see what's going on. They can be like, "Hey, you got your quotes wrong." Like that's the exact sort of bug that when you're in the midst of writing software, at least in my experience, I don't see. It's not easy to see. Because it's like not the sort of error you tend to look for. Or I'll speak for myself. It's not the sort of error I tend to look for. Okay, so that looks right. Let's visit. It came from the 70s twice, and that should bring it to the front, or just below the privacy notice. Okay. Oh, yeah, just above the privacy notice because we visited it twice. So that's one greater. Yeah, okay. Yep. This all looks above board. Let's do it. Now let's commit it for review. I wonder what that error is. So I'll amend. Real-time reviewers? For sure. And, like, you're helping me out. You're saving me time. It's great. Special shout out to all the people who have ever helped me work on stuff during live streaming. You've probably saved me a ton of time. Okay, so now I'm going to rebase. Or not rebase. I don't want to have to rebuild, but I'm going to resubmit. Submit from here to here. Message update frequent visits SQL query and use, what was it called? Main thread pointer. folder. And jump list builder. Okay. Oh, geez. MozFab has to update itself, and it never succeeds in doing this. Or, yeah, it never succeeds in doing this. So I have to do it manually. I don't know why. Okay, and then let's try it again. I guess other people don't experience that problem. Maybe it's because I'm still using the Ming shell, and other people are using smarter things. But I'm pretty happy with this patch. Like, I'm happy that we were able to both reverse engineer the SQL query, format it nicely, but also in the commit message we have like added a source for where the query came from. I think that's responsible software development. Hey, while we're waiting for this to be submitted, some news. Boop, 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 boop. There was a blog post that went out recently about some performance improvements that I thought was pretty neat. Let me find it. Where did that go? I thought it was a pretty cool blog post. Yeah, in the Hacks blog. Firefox got faster in 2023. This is worth checking out if you want to read some interesting stuff about like our performance work this year and how we've been really improving things for users in the real world. It's worth checking out. I've put it in the agenda. I will now save the agenda. So if you reload the agenda, that link should be there. There's also a more generalized, like this is a fairly nerdy blog post. I recognize that I would imagine the vast majority of the people watching this video fall in that sort of nerdy camp that would be happy to consume this blog post. But if you're looking for something like a little more palatable, something that's maybe less down in the weeds of like graphs and stuff, this blog post might also be of interest. Also, this one. This is like for general audiences. People who just care about their browser being fast. Craig writes that the spidermonkey.dev blog hasn't been updated in a while. Is that true? Spidermonkey.dev. Yeah, I guess it has been a little while since there's been a SpiderMonkey newsletter. I know that the SpiderMonkey Mastodon account has been posting stuff about what's been going on in relation to this performance work. Like it's I think that's where a lot of their attention is being spent, is like the performance work for Speedometer 3 in particular. But yeah, maybe they'll hopefully be able to get a moment to put their tools down and write a blog post of what's been happening. That's always the challenge, right? Is we work really, really hard on a bunch of stuff, and by the time we're done, we're exhausted and we move on to something else, and we don't usually take the time sometimes to sort of like tell people what we had done. We don't take the time to sort of explain what the hard work was. I mean, doing actual work rather than writing about the work is probably a better use of the time. Maybe, but like there is something to be said about public perception. Like, I think it's important that we tell people that we're actually improving performance, because otherwise they just might not know or might not notice, and there'd be this like sort of impression, an erroneous impression that we're not like working hard or not working on anything, which is not the case. We're working very hard and we're working on lots of things. Okay, so those are up for review. I'm actually going to quickly comment in this one, the jump list, the create a new jump list builder implementation. To mention the note that I updated this patch to use as main thread pointer holder to hold a promise. What do? I hold a promise holder, I think. To hold the generated DOM promise for the possible but very unlikely event that the promise, the caller of the jump list builder methods throws away the promise before it can resolve. Throw away the promise and it gets GC'd before the promise can resolve, which yeah, because I'm pretty sure, because from my understanding, this would have resulted in the lambda functions, helper lambda functions, referring to initialized to a freed pointer, like I presume the ref pointer being moved between threads is supposed to be done via a NS main thread pointer holder, just based on, what was it, the documentation? Where is it? Yeah, based on this. All right. Okay. And I think we can. That's ready for review. Okay. This has been updated to use an SQL query that should match what had been generated before via the deprecated, what was the async build frequent. Let's get history results. Async execute legacy query stuff. All right. Okay. All right. That's that. So then the last thing I wanted to do today, if possible, in the last 24-ish minutes, is let's write a test for that that thing we dealt with last week. So let's get this a building so we can have it running in the we can get that kind of kicked off in the background. But let's go over to our test. That's test jump list builder, and we're going to add a new test. Test that a Windows jump list shortcut description with a, and what gets truncated again? It's jump list builder, truncate its max path. The description, with a description longer than max path gets truncated to max path. this is so, this is because max path is the limit. This is because a description longer than max path will cause commit list to fail for to fail mysteriously. To fail. Yeah. Yeah, that's probably enough. Okay, so let's call it truncate description. And this is in the construction of, this is in populate list, so we're gonna have to do that. We're gonna be doing populate list, populate jump list. So something like this. Let's copy all of this. Let's copy all of this, actually. I just realized this is closer to what it is that we want to do. But we're gonna make some changes. Desk JS vals. The comparator we're going to want to update our custom descriptions. Okay. Here's what I want to do. We're not even going to put a custom desks. I don't think that's, well, okay. We'll put in 2 each. What's done with these? Populate jump list. Oh yeah, the JS vals. Okay. And then these are what we compare them to. Test desks. Okay. I see. Okay. So here's what we're gonna do. We construct these things. I'm gonna maybe. We want to have a description that's quite long. Bool long description. Boolean long description. True if the description should be greater than max path. Now, what is max path? Oh no, Win32 max path. Which is defined as 260 characters. So let us create a very long string. That's auto string description. If long description. Okay. And then else we'll say description dot assign that. That's how it works, right? And ns auto string dot assign. That's how that works. Hint is an auto string. Yeah, you can assign it. Okay. We'll assign a very long string. This is a very, 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 very long test description for item I. Okay. So I'm pretty sure this is long enough. Let's just double check. Oh, it's not even close. Here, let's just. Okay, let's try this. Um, 253, almost there. Let's add even more. Okay. That should be plenty. Should be very sufficient. Yeah, 462. All right. So generate, we're going to say false for most of them. False. 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 And then for truncate description, we're going to say true. True. And maybe what we can do is we can even say that if we were to shorten this, what's the substring 0 to 60? That's what we would expect it to be truncated to. Desks. We expect the long descriptions to be truncated to 260 characters. So we'll truncate the task desk descriptions here ourselves. Maybe we'll just go like task desks. Can I just do like element at, or we're just going to loop through them. We'll just loop through them. For task desk of task desks, we're going to update each one so that task desk, now we need to get at the property. This is the generator. M description. But it's a constant. Pretty sure it's a constant. Am I wrong about that? Maybe I'm wrong about that. on this side of things, it might not be a constant, but it might be. Task desk dot m description. Let's try and truncate it to max path. Let's see what happens. I suspect that this is not going to work. Long strings will truncate the descriptions here ourselves. Let's do them all at once, or like let's do them one after the other. Custom desks. Truncate. All right, let's see what that does. Mock gtest jump list builder dot star. Show me build failure. I need the, was it the Family Feud like ding or sound. I should add that to Wacky Morning DJ. All right, let's see. I smell incoming build failure. I suspect it. But let's see. It's actually linking. This is incredible. I did not expect that to be the case. Excuse me. So we might have gotten away with murder here with this test. The only reason we couldn't have done this on the other side in Jump List Builder itself is because when we're on the receiving end, it's a constant. Yeah. Oh, and a crash. Ooh, what happened? That's bad. That's bad. Okay. Uninteresting mock function call, returning default value, set app ID point. So I failed to unknown file, error, uninteresting mock function call. Return 0. We called it 0 times. Maybe it's because we crashed. Truncate description. We ran. Are we even allowed to do? Is this where we're crashing? Like, what if I just like don't do any of this? And I wonder if we can find some truncate, find some examples. Truncate. New length. Asserts and that the string doesn't become longer. Never fails, so it doesn't need a failable variant. You must not use previously obtained iterators or spans. So set length to a new length. Yeah, that fails. So setting, it's not even this stuff. It's truncating these descriptions is causing us to crash. But why? What if I say set length instead of truncate? I would imagine that's similar. That will also still crash. Suppose it's uninitialized memory if the string got longer. It never fails. not like a whole lot of usage of truncate. Localster is an atom C string. Let's see more usages of truncation. This is not, no. Yeah, path position. Name, what are you? Name. Name is a C string. Result, truncate, incremental string, what are you? You're an auto string. So that's fine. This just failed. Failed test. Which part? Error, uninteresting awk function call. Returning default value, unknown file error. Function call set app ID pointing to test application ID. I guess I never did this part. Like, why did that not crash? Why would truncate crash, but set length doesn't crash? And I guess what I need to do is I need to normally I'd wait for resolver, spin until resolved. This is still okay, yeah, that works. So what happens if I then just uncomment this? No, keep set path. Keep set path or set length, but then run the rest of the test. Is it happy with that? And why would truncate crash? Doesn't make any sense. Is there any documentation on truncation that might shed some light? Truncate shortens the string to a given length. Do not call set capacity. So undo the benefit of set capacity. Failed. Comparing generated shell link. Never called. I never called these things. Expected arg comparing shell link with Windows Windows jump the shortcut description definitions. Actual. Expected to be called once. Never called. Satisfied, unsatisfied, and active. So it was called, but it was unexpected. So it was called, but the comparison didn't work. So let's print out our when we're comparing. Description. Path buff. Get path. Description. Ooh. M description equals desk buff info tip size. should probably be max path. We're going to say printf description buffer, or description, yeah, buffer, and then, well, how do you print a wchar t? Printf wchar t. We'll do ls, okay, ls, and that'll be desk buff, and then expected, I don't know, let's try desk.mDescription.get. We might need to promise that this is, oh boy, how do we get this? .mDescription.get. Yeah, we might have to do it that way, but we might have to do like string guide, promise, plus string, printf, convert UTF-16 to UTF-8, maybe do that. Something like this. Let's see what that does. From the comment about truncate, like set length, but asserts in that the string doesn't become longer. Never fails, so it doesn't need a fallible variant. Asserts that the string doesn't become longer. Has the string accidentally become longer? Maybe I should be checking the lengths. Chart T. Oh, expects this to just be S? Okay. Yeah, I mean, did I do it wrong? Is it possible that I'm failing in the setup here? If long description dot assign this. Description expected empty, description buffer empty. These are all empty. What the heck? Generated desk.mDescription. I'm very confused. Strings. Ah, I heard this quote once from someone who used to work at Mozilla. His name was Nathan Freud. And he said, everyone hates their string implementation, especially us. Everyone hates their own string implementations, especially us. Which I thought was always funny. So now it's saying ls. The organized type wchar t star. So this should be expected. So it's saying that this should be S. Hang on. Go back to the start. Generated. These are just empty. Generated T. So did I just do this wrong? Description dot assign m description equals. Did I just, maybe I did string assignment incorrectly. String title m description. Like, what's the title? Generated title. S desk m title. Maybe I've been doing this wrong the whole time. The second argument to assign. There's a second argument to assign? Assign. Assigns new value to the string. Approximately the same as operator. What? The second argument to assign. I means length. Not sure what you mean. Oh. Oh! Oh! Could that be what's going on here? That I'm... I need to format this correctly. Right. I think you were correct, Ocris. This argument doesn't make any sense for assign. I'm trying to pre-format a string here. I don't even think I need to do this. I'm just gonna like get rid of that. I'm gonna get rid of that. I can just say for an item. Does this even work? Like whenever I title. Let's just do that. And then let's not do that. Now what you say? Formatting, print sc string. So still not what I expected. Generated empty, then generated T. I think I'm doing this wrong. Description dot assign. Why is generated empty? Generated. F description is. Am I just printing? Maybe I'm printing it out wrong? Length is description dot length. Generated title wasn't printed. Did I rebuild? Yes, I did. Anytime I rerun the test, it rebuilds. Very mysterious. We might have to save this mystery for next time, gang. Generate T. What the? Generate T. Description generated title. Where's generated title? Where's this? Where are these? I think I'm not actually building again. I think the build is failing is what's going on here. Build is failing, and that's why it just keeps running the old stuff. Cannot pass non-trivial object. Oh, right. Can't generate title dot get. That's what it's failing out for. Okay. That's what's going on. The test runs despite the build failing, so you end up looking at the old results from when it did fail. That seems like a foot gun, an easy way to confuse yourself, as evidenced here. All right. Will it build? It's linking. That's a good sign. Oh, C++ strings. Just want strings to make sense. Okay, good. I'm seeing things that make some sense here. Generated title, test task. This is a test description item like this 38. Good, 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 good. Generated title. Test task description is oh, I should have put a new line there. Length is 463. Generated, so that's good. That's good. And then comparing, it's expected. Match, expected to call. The comparator is saying description buffer and expected. Where's description buffer? Description buffer. Failed. Where's the lines from in here? Where's this stuff? Maybe it's because it does equal? Printf descriptions match one another. And why would we be failing? What are we failing for? Because of an uninteresting mock function call returning default value. Test application, set app ID. Actual doesn't match. Expected to be called once. Actual never called. Unsatisfied and active. I think this is something we're going to have to investigate next week. So let's commit HG amend. And then, yeah, the old ones definitely still have the bug. I might need to update the old tests as well. Let me actually just mention it in here. Test item. It turns out we can't do string assignment this way. String formatting and assignment this way. Right? This is a note to myself to fix this before landing. Okay. And I wonder if fixing that bug is causing the other failures. Hilarious. Where's the other one? Generate shortcut descriptions. Here. Okay, I'll do the other one here. Okay. Submit. String. Do we get that for free? So Smurfy is suggesting something like this. Something like and I don't know if we get that for free. Maybe. A tuple. Yeah, I don't know if the C if that's like valid. Once again, C strings, not my favorite and not something I'm super comfortable with. So maybe we can look into that next week. Let me actually I'll add that. So we did this, write a test for a long description. Might be what saves us here. So that's for next week. Hey, thank you so much for watching episode, what episode is this? 345 of The Joy of Coding. Let me know what you thought. Put the parentheses around the string formatting. Yeah, I know. Like something like this. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Maybe that'll work. We can try that next week. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode. We fixed one thing. We kind of got mired in this weird test thing, but that's maybe revealed a problem in our tests, and so it goes. But we'll look at it again next week, and hopefully by then Molly will have reviewed the frequency thing, and then maybe we can even, if we can get these tests sorted out, we can just land it next week. No promises, but we'll see. Thanks again. Have yourselves a great week. Talk to you soon. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
The joy of coding.
5 episodes until 350. See ya. Bye.